Hi, welcome to what promises to be a very intriguing and controversial uh, Success with People life class. Yeah, we're going to be here for just about 30 minutes. So I'm suggesting that you put aside what it is that you're doing, the multitasking, and be engaged as we explore this whole issue of conflict from a different perspective. So, hi, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and I'm with the Success with People Academy, and I will be your guide through this analysis, this examination of the issue of conflict and how conflict can be a catalyst for innovation. Yeah, so we want to convert frustration into innovation. Now, let me tell you, I have been taken to task, you know, for being an advocate of healthy discourse, to feeling that we need to put things on the table and express our opinions in a respectful but seriously in a earnest manner, because failing to do that would actually negate some of the problem solving solutions that might be available. So today we want to look at it from a positive point of view as well, then, not just preventing or solving or resolving conflict, but how could we use this dynamic, this energy that normally is in place where people see things from a different perspective? How could we harness that to produce innovation? That's our task today. As I said, we're not going to be here much longer than 30 to 35 minutes. So please put aside what it is that you're doing and engage with me. So we want to step into this brave new world that I'm suggesting. So here we go. I'm suggesting that we should bring it on, bring it on, bring it on, you know, in this corner. And so let's throw our perspectives into the ring and defend them mightily, but also respectfully. Let us not forget that piece. But when the bell rings and the announcer comes, Judge John Brown scores it, and the referee scores it 98-96 for Trevor Smith, a winner, new champ. Then, friends, we have to accept that verdict and commit to working with it. So don't let us have this discourse in meetings, and you have your side and we have our side. And at the end of the day, when the team leader says, okay, this is it, the fight is over, the battle is done. Now it's time to roll up sleeves and move ahead with what it is that has been decided. So, is this a figment of my imagination? No. Google actually has this principle that they call disagree and commit. Exactly what I'm talking about, where you encourage employees, encourage team members to voice their opinions, engage in constructive disagreements. But, but once a decision is made, then you put that aside. Yeah, we're not going to be there sulking around. I thought my idea was better, and it's all sorts of reasons for not getting on board. That, friends, is the approach that has been used to create things like Google Glass and Android. Yeah, what we're talking about here. Embracing differences such that it allows us to be able to fuel innovation. Good use for conflict. So, how can we then proceed to convert frustration into innovation? Yeah. Some questions, some what ifs. What if we decided to be intentional about fanning the flames of diversity of thought, diversity of perspectives, diversity of behavioral styles? What if we could fan those flames into a bonfire of innovation? Suppose we just could pull those things together and to say, okay, let's use the energy that comes from all of these diverse areas and put it together in an explosion of innovation. What if we became truly serious about providing psychological safety so that team members could feel really safe to share and to defend their perspectives? One of the challenges that we have is that people feel unsafe. They're not sure that they can express their opinions, especially in a situation where you have dominant leaders. The feeling is that if you go against the views of the leadership, you could be sidelined. And so you don't challenge them. And that's a problem that we have. So we need to create safe zones. I must tell you straight up, as the owner of a small business, I have learned that if I'm having a subject at a meeting, I cannot express my view, because if I express my view, then that's it, it's dead. Nobody's going to contend against it, because the feeling is that the owner just wants his view. And so it's frustrating, because you really do want to have contending views. You're not sure. So that's the point. It's defeating the purpose when we hold back. And so no matter how you're saying, I want to hear your views, the feeling is that let me wait, because they're going to feel you out to see where your head is, and then they line up behind. Not healthy, not healthy. You want people to say, no, I disagree. And you want the leader, owner, whoever it is in charge, to say, okay, let me hear why you disagree. I think I lost connection there. I'm sorry. Maybe I was too uh, emphatic. Right. So I'm suggesting then that we open the door to having more meaningful discussion, where people will have a sense that their contribution is going to be respected, that their contribution is going to be um, acted upon, and that their contribution is actually valued. So that's basically what we want to explore today, right? So let us look at how this manifests itself in practice. In practice, we had the SpaceX situation with Elon Musk. And so we know that Elon is an icon for conflict. Yes, it's a controversial individual, not averse to conflict, but he's also highly innovative. And so the SpaceX, the idea of colonizing Mars, It was a far out idea. And of course, his team members would push back. So Elon actually embraced the skepticism, encouraged the debate, and out of it, we see a complete transformation of space travel. Yes. So that's one of the things that you want to look at is how do you bring contending forces together to a place where um, we can start to innovate. Yeah. So rather than dodge behind and send out, put out snide remarks and quietly um, disagreeing, let's put it out on the table. Bring it on. IDEO also has this concept where, in terms of their design work, they bring teams, interdisciplinary teams together, and they engage in what we call creative conflict. Yes. And so this constructive tension, as we say here, drives innovation because you think that this is the obvious way to go, but we're going to challenge that assumption. Yeah. And so it is out of that kind of thinking that we got the mouse. Yes, that transformed the whole way that we interact with computers. So there we see on the right the Lisa mouse, the original mouse. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about is how can we bring content in views? How can we bring tension from various views into the creation of new services, new products? That's the idea. So now I've been working with teams and working with behavioral styles for a couple of decades really, and dealing with conflict. And one of the things that is clear to me is that the vast majority of conflicts could either be mitigated, prevented, or resolved more quickly if there was a greater understanding of behavioral styles. And so that's why we have our discerning model of communication and leadership, which actually uses the DISC framework: dominance, influence, steadiness, conscientiousness. It builds a whole body of knowledge around that framework to help people to navigate life more effectively, more easily. And so one of the things that we can look at then is how do we take these behavioral preferences, which are not always aligned, which do not always see things in the same way. How can we work with these different behavioral styles and harness them into a situation where they become more productive, where we can even get some innovation? So let's do a little practical exercise here. So we're looking at the four styles. Yeah. So we know that in the red zone, dominance, that's a lot more speed. Want to make things happen now, right? Go to market first. Be decisive. Let's make it happen. The I style, a lot more creativity. Let's connect. Let's build some wow in it. Let's connect more with the customers. Let us look and see if we can excite the customers. Yeah. The S style is it's caution, patience. Let's work it through. And we remember we're here for the long haul, right? So it's not a jackrabbit start where you have to rush and then come back. It's more a steady, successful way forward. And then of course there's the conscientiousness, the C style, which is plan, look for systems, make sure that we are conforming, make sure that there's compliance with policies and regulations, all of that. So that dynamic, working together in a project team or in an organization, could produce tension. What if we could so manage that tension as to get good results? So let us look at some of the dynamics, some of the areas of tension. One is, should we speed up the quality assurance process? Find ways to deal with the quality issues much more quickly so we can get the market sooner. Should we invest in that? Or not? Or be careful. What you don't want to do is to launch a product with defects. But we have seen, for example, in the area of technology, Microsoft and other, they put the products out there and they said we're going to fix the bugs after. So that is the thing. I couldn't can you imagine the back office there where someone is saying, no, let's get it out. Let's not. As a matter of fact, in many instances, these technology companies announce even before they're ready. And then they put it out and they say, okay, we'll fix it. But we want to own that space. I can imagine that the politicians, the C-style individuals are pulling out their ears and say, listen, what are you doing to our reputation? Why would you want to put something out there that you know might not be fully functional? That's the challenge. And so the other thing would be, that what about the compelling features? Differentiation. Let's not do a me too. Let's add a bell here, a whistle there. Yeah, that's part of it. It doesn't matter whether they will ever use it, these features, but at least we can say we have these features. That's I-style coming in. And cost control C-style persons are saying, no, let's just go with a core need that our research has indicated is required. And so we can reduce the cost to the client. Those are some of the dynamics that's happening. And when we are able to sit on top of it and to manage it effectively, then we have a winning solution. The same thing the S-style is saying, whatever we are doing, please remember the stakeholders. Please put people first. Think of the implications for members of staff, for clients, for the environment, all of those things. Have that at the forefront of your mind. And the pragmatic D-style, and maybe sometimes your C-style individuals will say, listen to me. The best way to address stakeholder needs is to make some money. Because if we don't have the finances in place, we can't address those needs. So let us focus and get profits in, and then we can deal with the stakeholders. So what we are saying is that this is a sort of practical examination of how we could so massage the dynamics of the different behavioral styles in order to produce winning solutions. Conflict can be transformed into innovation. Instead of focusing on frustration, we can move it to success. So, what about using conflict as a trigger for change? Let me be clear about this. That many times, if we look behind conflict, there can be a root cause that is desirous, that is pointing you that there's a need for change. Right now, I'm going to pour out my bitterness as a Manchester United supporter. I'm there, and I'm hearing, the fans are saying, yeah, get rid of the owners because it's their fault. They're not putting any money in the business, and they put a lot of debt on the business. And the coach is saying, the back office, I wanted these players, I can't get them. What you want me to do? So there's a lot of to and fro and whatever it is. But what it suggests is that there is a fundamental problem in terms of the capacity to offload players who are not functioning that you don't want on the team. So that's an issue. And being able to get the players that you want. Yeah. Ole says that he brought Haaland you know, who was a candidate for the Ballon d'Or. I'm sorry if you're not in the football team. But yeah, so this is one of the top players in the world. He brought it to Manchester United years ago, and it didn't happen. And now he's at Manchester City and scoring goals all over the place. What we're saying is that that situation there, if it is going to be resolved, suggest some change. Something has to happen in terms of recruitment and sale of players. It's clear that that the squad that Manchester United has is no comparison to the squad that Manchester City has. And the reverse was the case like a decade, maybe 20, 15 years ago. So what we're saying is that sometimes conflict points to the need for change. And so we can look at it in different areas as to what is the conflict that we're having in our organization. If we're looking at budgets, well, we can look at the government, for example. If we're going to spend more money on crime fighting as against spending that money in the school system so that we're not training people to be crime producers, that's a dynamic. So those are some of the things to say. How do we then go ahead in terms of our budgeting? Should we change the approach that we're taking? Those are some of the ideas now where conflict then could be a basis for examining the need for change. All right. So one of the keys, though, is to value the idea of healthy discourse, value the idea of not covering up disagreements, value the idea of saying, please bring your ideas. I want to hear it. And one of the things that we're talking about here, if I'm using my discerning communication hat, is to especially talk to our style individuals who will have the idea but feel I don't want to rock the boat, or maybe others, have another perspective. Let them go first and say, no, you guys have a wealth of information. I want to hear it. And so leaders need especially to make sure that they ferret that information out of people who are reticent to share. And part of that is to create a safe zone. Psychological safety is important, but also act on it. So when you pull it out of me and I give you my idea, don't just file it away. I want to see that you actually valued it and you acted upon it. So the key then is to encourage healthy debates. I'm not talking about the cast and unproductive conflict, where people just are throwing stones at each other. I'm talking about encouraging open dialogue, honest discourse, where all opinions are respected and welcome. That's where we're going, and that is what will make a difference. And here's where I think it works, is when the leaders display what it is that they require. So leaders shouldn't terminate discourses that are going down that avenue that they didn't want. So let us go back to my pain point of Manchester United. If you are leading the discourse and you totally disagree, that there is anybody else to blame apart from the coach, right? Don't terminate the discussion. They'll get a chance. Let me put in my view as well. But the temptation is, if the views are not aligned with mine, then you cut the discussion. That's one of the things that we have to stop. So you not only want to ferret out information, but you also want to allow for the views to contend. And even if it shows you up, even if your perspective is not accepted, you still need to do that. Yeah? So promoting an environment in which there is a free flow of information, where people feel comfortable expressing their views. That's the winning formula. And that's where we can actually channel conflict into productive use. Yeah. So what is the bottom line? Conflict doesn't have to be a stumbling block. Yeah. Why don't we use this powerful, this powder king? Well, no, that's probably dangerous. But this energy as a stepping stone to innovation. And so let's embrace differences, man. Let's welcome the diversity of thought, of perspectives, of behavioral styles. Yeah. And so we can start to nurture this culture then of open communication and provide the kind of leadership that can actually pull it together, that can harness it into, you know, um, transforming life, transforming your team into this innovative powerhouse. That's where we want to go. Just want to share something with you quickly. I'm going to ask you to join. We have set up this leadership DNA club on LinkedIn, and it's not one of those clubs, where people just come and just dump promotional material. It's not. It's very strictly managed. I manage it personally, and so when you go there, you're going to get rich content, and I'm inviting you to share rich content. So if you go to the groups on LinkedIn and type Leadership DNA Club, you will see it. You're going to have to be invited in. So if you click, you put a request to be invited in, and then we let you in. That's the other thing that we do. I'm sorry, apologize. But a lot of people who are trying to set up websites and so on and ask to be in, they're not in. Then we're just looking for people who are serious about exchanging ideas around leadership, around communication, around development. That's it. And by the way, these live casts are also available to you on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, our channel is Extended Disk Solutions. So at Extended Disk Solutions, you can get any one of these live casts. And I'm inviting you really to let's have a discussion. I'd love to work with one of your teams. I've been working with teams using our discerning communication framework and of course our extended these solutions to make life better, help them to manage conflict, help them to be more productive. So we'd love to have a conversation with you. Send me an email at info@successwithpeople.org. And who are we? Well, we are the Success with People Academy, which is a division of the InfoServe Group. And we are actually recertification providers for SHRM. And so when we put out professional development credits, you can use them to recertify your SHRM CP or SHRM SCP certifications. What that really means is that we function at internationally recognized standards. So our quality is of the standard that SHRM is prepared to accept our professional development credits. And so we deploy the model that we spoke about, our discerning communication model of model of communication and leadership. And also we have this conflict prevention framework. It's controversial. Everybody is saying conflict is inevitable. I'm saying yes, but some conflicts can be prevented. And if we understand behaviors and if we can look at triggers, we can actually stop situations from getting into conflict. So that's why I want to look at not just saying we have no agency and must go about resolving conflicts. I'm saying let us prevent some of them by being proactive, by looking at triggers. And we also use our granular behavioral DNA assessments to support our work. And these are from Extended Disk on the Revolutionary Things platform. I want to thank you for your time. See, we're really trying to work within the half an hour, just get some information in. But I'm open to further discourse. Please send me an email, info@successwithpeople.org, or we can go directly to the chat on WhatsApp, 876-535-6677. Thank you. See you next week as we have the next Success with People Live class.